Hello! Welcome to my least favourite video to film ever. And would you believe this is the second time I'm filming it today? Because it is. So, I tried to film this earlier in the day. In fact, I did film the whole thing. All of it. It took me 4 hours. And then I was out of focus because I haven't got my glasses on, so I'm really hoping I'm not out of focus. And 60 books in, the audio disappeared. So we're going again. I'm starting again. And yeah, that's what's happening right here. I'm really pleased. This video is one that I do every year, but I hate doing because it takes so long. But it's a video that I like to have. But it is basically every book I own that I haven't read. My entire owned TBR. Simple as that. I will not be talking about these books in much detail. It will simply be book, bam, we are just gonna run through them all. There will be a running tally down here somewhere, maybe down here, I don't know where, of all of the books, and we will see how many I own that I haven't read. I do now have a catalogue of my library, so I do have a number that I'm expecting this to be if my catalogue is accurate. So we will see. But yeah, without further rambling, let's just crack on with it. Starting off with the A's from those shelves. A Touch of Light by Tiago Abdullah, The Blade Itself by Joe Abercrombie, The Goblin Emperor and Witness for the Dead by Catherine Addison, 100 Million Years and a Day by Jean-Baptiste Andrea, Mageborn by Stefan Arion, Upon a Burning Throne by Ashok K. Banker, Age of Assassins, Blood of Assassins, and King of Assassins, all by R.J. Barker, I'm Afraid You've Got Dragons by Peter S. Beagle, My Throat an Open Grave by Tori Bovolino, Green Rider by Kristen Britton, The Wolf in the Whale by Jordana Max Brodsky, The Black Coast by Mike Brooks, The Black Tongue Thief and The Daughter's War by Christopher Buehlman, The Furies of Calderon by Jim Butcher, Of Blood and Fire by Ryan Cahill, I did start this, I never finished it, Master Artificer by Justin Call, Queen of the Conquered by Kaysen Callender, The Hacienda by Isabel Canis, The Magician's Guild, The Novice, and The High Lord by Trudy Canavan, The Tethered Mage by Melissa Caruso, Graceling by Kristen Cashore, 1,000 Recipes for Revenge by Beth Cato, The Herb Witch's Apprentice by Irene Chow, The Order of the Pure Moon Reflected in Water by Zen Cho, The Lighthouse Witches by C.J. Cook, Seasons of the Storm by Elle Cosimano, The Would-Be Queen by Edward Cox, Dark Matter and Recursion by Blake Crouch, Floating Hotel by Grace Curtis, Calamity at Kotori 5 by D.H. Danans, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep by Philip K. Dick, Gingerbread by Robert Dinsdale, Dangerous Remedies by Kat Dunn, Unconquerable Sun by Kate Elliott, The Final Strife by Sarah Alarifi, Kings of the Wild by Nicholas Ames, I did DNF this once, I've put it back on my TBR, Notorious Sorcerer by Davinia Evans, Darkblade by Steve Feasey, King of Ashes and Queen of Storms by Raymond E. Feist, The Hand of the Sun King and The Garden of Empire by J.T. Greathouse, The Bright Sword by Lev Grossman, The Mercies by Kieran Millward Hargrave, Starling House by Alex E. Harrow, Honeycomb and A Pocket Full of Crows by Joanne M. Harris, Orbital by Samantha Harvey, The Water Outlaws by S.L. Huang, Illborn by Daniel T. Jackson, On Earth as It Is on Television by Emily Jane, The Fifth Season, The Obelisk Gate, and The Stone Sky, all by N.K. Jemisin. The Endless Song by Joshua Philip Johnson. Books 1 through 5 of The Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan. I should probably read these at some point. Kingdom of Essence by Holly Carlson. Bryony and Roses. And A Sorceress Comes to Call by T. Kingfisher. Somewhere Beyond the Sea. Wolf Song. The Extraordinaries. And Under the Whispering Door, all by T.J. Klune. The Song of the Siren by Nicholas Kotar. The Sun and the Void by Gabriela Ramiro Lacruz, Dragonfall by L.R. Lamb, Untethered Sky by Fonda Lee, The Bonehouses by Emily Lloyd-Jones, The Silver Blood Promise by James Logan, So This Is Ever After by F.T. Lukens, The Lies of Locke Lamora, Red Seas Under Red Skies, and The Republic of Thieves, all by Scott Lynch, In Ascension by Martin McInnes, We Ride the Storm by Devon Madsen, The Two-Faced Queen and Voyage of the Forgotten by Nick Martell, The Contender by Taran Mathuru, A Promise of Blood, The Crimson Campaign, and The Autumn Republic, all by Brian McClellan, Blackwing, Raven Cry, and Crowfall, all by Ed MacDonald, Blackwater the Flood by Michael McDowell, Into the Heartless Wood, Beyond the Shadowed Earth, and Beneath the Haunting Sea by Joanna Ruth Meyer, Ascendant by Michael R. Miller, Fireborn by Rosaria Munda, Earthlings by Sayaka Murata, How High We Go in the Dark by Sequoia Nagamatsu, Fury of a Demon by Brian Nasland, The Mountain in the Sea by Ray Naylor, Son of the Storm by Sui Davies Okumboa, Sabriel by Garth Nix, The Unlikely Escape of Uriah Heep by H.G. Parry, Dreamwalker by J.D. Oswald, Beasts Made of Night by Tochi Onyebuchi, She Who Became the Sun by Shelley Parker Chan, When the Moon Hatched by Sarah Parker, Storm Tide and Nightfall by Den Patrick, The Wise Man's Fear by Patrick Rothfuss. Am I ever going to read this? The Rhythmatist by Brandon Sanderson, A King's Radiance by L.R. Schulz, Shanghai Sparrow and Sparrow Falling by Guy Sebold, A Magical Girl Retires by Park Seo-yeon, We Are the Dead by Mike Shackle, The Thief of Legacy by Andrew Simpson, The Providence of Fire and The Last Mortal Bond, both by Brian Staveley, House of Hollow by Crystal Sutherland, The Bone Shard Emperor and The Bone Shard War by Andrea Stewart, Tangleweed and Brine by Deirdre Sullivan, The Tyranny of Faith and The Trials of Empire by Richard Swan, Inkblood Sister Scribe by Emma Torres, The First Binding by R.R. Verdi, Legacy of Light by Matthew Ward, The Fire Within Them, also by Matthew Ward, Witch King by Martha Wells, Ashes of the Sun by Django Wexler, The Fires of Vengeance by Evan Winter, The Ember Blade and The Shadow Casket by Chris Wooding, Watermoon by Samantha Soto Yambao, The Ninth Rain by Jen Williams, Butter by Asako Yuzuki, The Collarbound by Rebecca Zahabi, Yeonam-dong's Smiley Laundromat by Kim Ji-yoon, The Bookshop Woman by Nanako Henada, Marigold Mind Laundry by Jungyeon Yun, Will Prescribe You a Cat by Seo Ishida, Return to the Daligot Dream Department Store by Mai Lee, Before We Forget Kindness by Toshikazu Kawaguchi, Letters from the Ginza Shihodo Stationery Shop by Kenji Ueda, I Want to Die But I Want to Eat Tteokbokki by Baek Shi, Maybe I Will by Melanie Jacobson, Tacos for Two by Betsy St-Amant, Something Wild and Wonderful by Anita Kelly, Rosaline Palmer Takes the Cake by Alexis Hall, Simmer Down by Sarah Smith, The Iliad and The Odyssey by Homer, translated by Emily Wilson. I'm being roped into a buddy read of these. The End of Everything by Katie Mack, 10 Things You Should Know About Trees by Carolyn Fry, 10 Things You Should Know About Time by Colin Stewart, 10 Things You Should Know About the Deep Sea by John Copley, This Way to the Universe by Michael Dine, The Arctic by Klaus Dodds and Jamie Woodward, The Physics of Climate Change by Lawrence Krauss, The Rise and Fall of Dinosaurs by Steve Brasati, The Universe in Bite-Sized Chunks by Colin Stewart, The Milky Way Smells of Rum and Raspberries by Dr. Gillian Scudder, 7 Brief Lessons on Physics by Carlo Rovelli, First Light by Emma Chapman, A Brief History of Black Holes by Dr. Becky Smethurst. Now on to some comics. Invisible Kingdom Volume 2 and 3, Ascender Volume 2 and 3, Low Volume 4 and 5, Isola Volume 2, Die Volume 1, Inkblot Volume 1, The Magic Order Volume 1, Jalea Volume 1, Scales and Scoundrels Volume 2, Wingbearer, Bloodlust and Bonnets, Return of Zeta the Space Girl, and Legends of Zeta the Space Girl, The Girl from the Sea, Mapmakers and the Lost Magic, The Unfamiliar, Steal the Wind by Jocelyn Drake, 7 Faceless Saints by M.K. Lobb, The Stormkeeper's Island by Catherine Doyle, Impossible Creatures by Catherine Rundell, A Curse of Saints by Kate Dramis, Son of Blood and Ruin by Merrily Lars, The Inheritance by Robin Hobb, Blood of Dragons, also by Robin Hobb, and then Fool's Assassin, Fool's Quest, and Assassin's Fate, also all by Robin Hobb, Absolution, City of Saints and Madmen, and Venice Underground, all by Jeff Vandermeer, Everyday Angel by Victoria Schwab, the only Schwab book I haven't read, A Time of Blood, and A Time of Courage by John Gwynne, The Way of Kings, Words of Radiance, Oathbringer, Rhythm of War, and Arcanum Unbounded, all by Brandon Sanderson. I know they're all broken into 2 books, but they're supposed to be 1. I do have all the part 2s, but I'm just counting them as 1 book. The Wall of Storms, The Veiled Throne, and Speaking Bones, all by Ken Liu. Slightly different angle. I forgot a shelf. Let's carry on. The Stardust Thief by Chelsea Abdullah, Sleep Like Death by Kaylin Bayron, Long Live Evil by Sarah Rees Brennan, Sing Me to Sleep by Gabby Burton, The Girl with No Reflection by Keshi Chow, Shadow Cabinet by Juno Dawson, The Dagger and the Flame by Catherine Doyle, A Tempest of Tea by Hafsa Faisal, Evocation by S.T. Gibson, Threads That Bind by Kika Hatzopoulou, What the River Knows by Isabella Banez, Spice Road by Maya Ibrahim, The God and the Gumiho by Sophie Kim, In the Lives of Puppets by TJ Clune, The Darkness Within Us by Trisha Levenseller, Forged by Blood by Igbor Okuson, Bonesmith by Nikki Palpretto, The Wolf and the Woodsman by Ava Reed, The Temptation of Magic by Megan Scott, The Gods Below by Andrea Stewart, Air by Saba Tahir, The Foxglove King by Hannah Witten, A Language of Dragons by S.F. Williamson. And now let's do manga. Death Note Volume 1, Children of the Whales Volume 1, 2 and 3, Solo Leveling Volume 1, Witch Hat Atelier Volume 7, 8, 9 and 10, Eden Zero Volume 1, Dragon Ball Volume 1, Blue Exorcist Volume 1 and 2, Full Metal Alchemists Volumes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 in 2 books, Burn the Witch Volume 1, One Piece Volumes 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, but in 2 books again. Reign of the Seven Spellblades Volume 1, Your Name Volume 1, Spy Family Volume 7, 8, 9 and 10, Magus of the Library Volume 1, The Girl from the Other Side Volume 2, 4 and 5. I don't have Volume 3, I need to get that. Pokemon Journeys Volume 3, Pokemon Adventures X and Y Volume 1 and 2, and then Pokemon Adventures Collector's Editions 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. I really need to continue this. And I believe that just leaves us with middle grade. Alright, middle grade's collected, last stack. I am hot, this video is a workout to film. But, let's go. Amari and the Great Game by B.B. Alston, Rainbow Grey, Eye of the Storm, and Rainbow Grey, Battle of the Skies by Laura Ellen Anderson, The Thief Who Sang Storms by Sophie Anderson, Explorers at Pirate Island and Explorers at Stardust City by Alex Bell, Legendarium, The Smoking Hourglass, and The Frozen Telescope, all by Jennifer Bell, The Ice Bear Miracle by Kerry Burnell, Wildalore the Accidental Apprentice by Amanda Foody, The Last Bear by Hannah Gold, Fire Song and Serpent of the Sands by Vashti Hardy, Conrad's Fate, Mixed Magics, The Lives of Christopher Chant, The Pinot Egg, and A Tale of Time City, all by Diana Wynne-Jones, The Extraordinary Adventures of Alice Tonks by Emily Kenny, The House on Horder Hill by Mickey Lish and Kelly and Guy, My Neighbour Totoro, the novel by Miyazaki and Kubo, Like a Charm by Elle McNichol, The Slightly Alarming Tale of the Whispering Wars, and The Stolen Prince of Cloudburst by Jacqueline Moriarty, Anya and the Nightingale by Sophia Pasternak, Root Magic by Eden Royce, Frankie Best Hates Quests by Chris Smith, The Edge Chronicles The Twig Saga, books 1, 2 and 3 by Stuart and Riddell, The Edge Chronicles The Quint Saga, books 1, 2 and 3 by Stuart and Riddell, and finally, the last book, I think, is Skandar and the Skeleton Curse by A.F. Stedman. Ta-da! Now, if my spreadsheet is correct, I don't know if the book that I finished today has actually been marked off on there. That should be 310, which is more than I would have liked. I would have liked to be under 300, but bearing in mind we've just had Christmas and I got a load of books for that, I'm not too mad about it being just over 300. I do like having a big library, I like having the options, I do lend my books out to friends and family, so I do operate a little bit like a library. According to my spreadsheet, overall I do have 750 books, so I am more in the green. I have read 57% of my library. So I'm pretty happy with that. If the number we've tallied up matches the number that was on my spreadsheet anyway. Fingers crossed it did. If it didn't, Editing Jade will be here to tell you what went wrong. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope this has been somewhat entertaining to you. If you had to recommend me one book from this list that you have seen today, please let me know down below what that would be. I may well use those comments for something throughout the year. So let me know down below one book from the list, what you would recommend. And let me know how many unread books you own, just out of curiosity, if you know. Anyway, I'm gonna go and tidy up now because the library is now an absolute mess. But thanks for hanging out, and I shall see you in whatever comes next. Bye!